Good afternoon or evening or morning, wherever you're listening from, and you have reached the best podcast that no one except for the three of us and our couple of loyal supporters listen to. But we're back at it again. It's Ian Blackwell along with Casey Merritt and Justin Duncan. How you doing today, Justin?
Not too shabby. Finally getting things settled around the house, so it's going well. How about you guys?
I really can't complain. It's aside from being football season, it's the best time of the year for a sports fan. You got NHL playoffs, you got NBA playoffs every night. It really does not get much better.
It really doesn't. And especially this time, before we get into the NBA playoffs, do you realize the WNBA regular season is about to start?
No, did
Caitlin
not
Clark
know.
already dropped 21 in her debut.
Her
Yeah,
preseason
no.
debut?
Yep.
I want to say
I'm
they
not
play
shocked.
Phoenix on opening night, but it's gonna be a good one. The thing about that before we get into the NBA playoffs, which we're definitely gonna cover in depth during the show, I think that it's weird too because if I'm not mistaken, I think the women's basketball season is the only one that really doesn't align pro and college. Like men's does, men's football does. But I think it's great because at this time, we don't have 5 months to forget about Caitlin Clark. Like
Yeah.
she just got drafted less than what a month ago, and then now she's going to be playing next week. Like they've already moved the Aces game to T-Mobile Arena. They've moved. I want to say when they play the Chicago Sky, play Angel Reese, they've already moved it to the United Center. And then one of her teammates, Kate Martin, is playing for the Aces now. It's gonna be an exciting time, man. We got we got NBA playoffs. I love Caitlin Clark, but I'm not watching that shit over the playoffs. But speaking of playoffs, man, we've already gotten past the first round. All
Yeah.
the first round series are completed. We're kind of into the second round. We have this is a Wednesday night we're recording this, unlike Tuesday like usual. We've got Knicks Pacers game 2 tonight. I want to go ahead and start with Casey on this one because I know that it has I would say that most of our conversations have centered around the Celtics and Clippers. So I want to get your opinion not on the Celtics, but what happened to the Clippers?
Look, when you're talking about what happened to the Clippers, there's the easy route of saying, "Oh, they're the Clippers." That happens every year, right? They choked 3-1 to the in the bubble. Like they seem to happen to the Clippers every year, but that's such a cop out answer. So that's not what I'm going with.
That's a bullshit answer, yeah.
You know what? But that's what a lot of people align with. Whenever the Cowboys lose in the playoffs, oh, the
It's the
Cowboys, they're going to choke.
Cowboys.
Yeah, that's the first thing they go to instead of stylistically breaking down the game into what happened. And so we're going to break down the Clippers and what truly happened. And I hate to say this, Ian, because he's such a phenomenal player when he's on the floor. It's the lack of accountability on Kawhi Leonard. You know how much pressure it puts on your team knowing that your best player on night in night out, whether he's going to be there, whether he's not going to be there, what type of like mental pressure that puts on
It's a whole
his
different game
replacement player.
plan.
It's a whole different game plan. And I think Tyronn Lue's a phenomenal coach. Oh, let me backtrack. I think Tyronn Lue is a good coach. I don't think he's a phenomenal coach. How? Because obviously he's won a title, but he had LeBron. And when you have the caliber of roster, well, not even the firepower that the Clippers have, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook, like James Harden, they are arguably the most talented roster in the NBA. One of them, at the very least. And you're not getting past the first round with because let's be real, Luka got hurt in Game 4. He was not the
Still
same.
hurt.
At all, at all.
He's still hurt. He's still hurt, and he's not the same. You couldn't get past an injured Luka. Don't get me wrong, Kyrie's phenomenal, but that roster isn't at the same level as the Clippers. And so I think
It
the
is the
Clippers
same
need to
level
shake up.
as the Suns.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the Clippers need to shake up, Ian. And I know that hurts you to say because with that roster that you have, every year you can go and say, oh, we should be a favorite in the West to at least
Yeah,
compete.
for sure.
But with the way that it's unfolding year in and year out, Kawhi's not reliable. Paul George is one of the most talented players in the league, but sometimes you have questions if he's going to show up in the playoffs. James Harden is aging. Russell Westbrook is a shell of him former self. He's kind of looking like the Lakers' Russell Westbrook in that last playoff series. it almost seems like at this point, you don't want to run it back. You don't want to run it back with the same roster, I don't think, Ian. You got beat by an overall better team. Yes, I think, because Dallas is more, I don't want to use the word together because, again, I don't like that kind of terminology.
Cohesive.
Cohesive is a great word to put it because they flow together really well. Each player matches each level of talents. And when the Clippers, you could say they do because Paul George and Kawhi play off each other very well and are a great 1-2 combination. But when one of those players plays half the year and just every other game, oh, my knee sore, I'm sitting out, it becomes to a point where almost, I'm not going to say they have any like animosity towards Kawhi, but it's almost like what they need to do now is get rid of Kawhi and get something while they can for him.
There was a
Build
stat that I
around Paul
saw-
George.
There was a stat that I saw that Kawhi has played a grand total. Well, I say he's missed 40% of every game he's been on the Clippers roster.
Absolutely. And then
40%.
people want to trash talk Anthony Davis for legitimately getting hurt and missing time. But Kawhi, for some reason, gets a pass for soreness and resting every other game. I think that's a big double standard that needs to be addressed. But Ian, at this point, with you as a Clippers fan, do you want to run it back or do you think it's time to shake things up?
That's a good question, man. And honestly, all of us over here in La La Land, and I think only the Lakers have the right to be able to say that, but all of us over here in Clipperland, it seems like the sentiment's the same, man. It's like, fuck, like we're really sick of Kawhi not playing, but like how, like, are we even gonna get 4 players that are gonna give us the same value as one Kawhi when he's on the court? Like,
No, you won't.
exactly.
But
So it's one of those things, bro, where it's like he just doesn't. It's so frustrating, dude. I mean, you look at this year. He played 68 games. Most games he's played since 2016-17 when he played 74. But you get to the playoffs, like how cautious do we need to be? And the thing is, man, it is not. I guess
he
uncomfortable
missed
for
3
me
games,
to.
right? In the playoffs?
Yeah,
Like
he missed
2 or 3.
or 4. He played
He
2.
Was
missed
it
4
4?
games. He played 2. He only played 2 games in the playoffs total.
Played 2 and 3, and they or no,
He
2
played
and
games 1
3.
and 2.
2
Yeah,
and 4, right? Or was
2
it
and
2 and 4,
3.
2 and 3, 2 and 3?
2 and
And
3.
they
Okay.
lost both of them.
Right, and it's like one of those things, dude, where it's like I honestly a lot of the times feel very uncomfortable judging injuries because at the end of the day, man, like I don't know what their body's going through. I'm not ignorant enough to be like, yeah, well, people go to work every day. What work? Like you're a pro athlete, man.
No,
Like
of
you're gonna
course,
need to be
that's different. I agree. Yeah,
at
absolutely
top
agree.
shape, but it's like fuck at what? Because if you were able to play games 2 and 3, you were obviously like I hate being one of those. Like Kobe would have done it. Kobe would have fucking been out there, man. Rest in peace. I don't want to speak on the dead, but dude, like, at what point are you gonna have some type of perseverance? Like,
Kobe
I
would have
can
been out there.
understand.
Mike would have been out there. LeBron would have been out
LeBron would
there.
have, and look, like LeBron gets so much shit, and I don't know if it was you or Justin that made the point about Anthony Davis. He's just injury prone, but like most of the injuries AD has had, we've seen them happen. Like, I don't know if you guys ever saw the video when Anthony Davis played with himself on one of the 2Ks for the first. There's a Sean sighting. But when Anthony Davis played with himself on 2K for the first time, he was laughing like, "Oh damn, this is realistic. Like I just got hurt." But we've seen Anthony Davis's injuries happen. At this point, I just think Kawhi is sitting there and collecting the bag, bro.
Here's my suggestion, and it's coming from a baseball fan perspective, and take it for what it will. You need a money ball situation. You need to recreate him in the aggregate because you're not
No.
going to ever recreate Kawhi. You're not going to get the same productivity.
That's what I was scared. Right? Yeah, for sure.
You're not. You can't expect it, but you can try that route. I mean, not necessarily. I don't necessarily expect it to work per se, but what other choice do you have? You're going to sacrifice the next 2-3 years and the money that should be better spent and better utilized rather than to keep the big name on the roster and hope to God he decides to lace up the shoes.
So, as far as recreating the money ball aspect of him, Justin, I see your point. But what I think the Clippers truly need to do All right, this is you almost have to eat the loss with Kawhi, right? So you need to trade him for some value for sure. But trying to recreate Kawhi into 3 or 4 players, I don't think is necessarily the best route. What I think they need to do is just rebuild and rebuild around Paul George and James Harden. And what you need to get around them is defenders and shooting. I think what they need to do, pick up that phone in the offseason, reach out to Philadelphia, reach out to Golden State, try to pick up a Klay Thompson, try to pick up a Buddy Hield, a spot up 3-point shooter, and then go after defenders too. Because Paul George can score any which way he wants on the court. James Harden can score any which way he wants on the court. You need a true spot up shooter. That's I'd still say elite shooters. Like Buddy Hield's still an elite shooter. Klay Thompson's still an elite shooter. Klay Thompson, as far as still being an elite player, might be done, but he's not going to need to be that. He doesn't need to be the second option like he is in Golden State. If he's in the Clippers, he'll be the third option. And then or Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield would be a great option for the Clippers too, I feel. And then you gotta go get some defenders out there. Paul George is a great defender. Don't get me wrong. And there's good. The Clippers are a good defensive team, but maybe give Boston a call. See what you can. If there's a trade worked out, I know they just signed it, but a trade that you can work out for Drew Holiday.
Nah, I don't really have no interest in Drew Holiday.
He's one of the best on-ball defenders in the league, though.
He's too old. Like, why are we gonna keep getting these old-ass players? I don't.
Kawhi's not getting any younger.
That's fair, but what is Drew, like 33 or some shit like that?
Oh, don't get me. I'm not saying
He's
trade them
29.
like straight up fucking Drew Holiday for Paul George or anything. Don't get me wrong, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is I think they need to move on from Kawhi and rebuild entirely. And just try to build around Paul George and James Harden. I think it's time.
I don't know, man. Like I feel you to an extent, but like it comes to one of those things to where, okay, let's look at I'm not gonna go through year by year, but let's look at every NBA champion since 2000, I don't fucking know, 7. Like there's always like think about the best player on every team. Tim Duncan, the big three in Boston, Kobe and Gasol, LeBron. Like we need a guy like I don't know, man.
Paul George can be that guy, Ian.
Can he? I mean, there's been times where I've thought, but I mean, to a championship, ability-wise, man, he's really second to none as far as like how good he is all around. But
absolutely, that's what I'm saying.
Oh man, Kawhi, but the thing is, we've seen like Kawhi has already won 2 championships. He's been defensive player of the year 2 times. It's like it's one of those things that's frustrating, bro, because I don't know if this is the right term, but it's like damned if we do, damned if we don't. Because I want to see what Casey said works out. Like let's go, like just to get some in the aggregate. Maybe go to Boston, get Drew Holiday. Maybe try to build something around Kawhi. You've already got Harden. You've already got Westbrook. Westbrook is more inconsistent than God fucking knows what. So I don't really know, man. I don't know what the plan is from here. Like I'm honestly at a loss. Like I don't know where the Clippers. Like I don't have a. Ideally, we just keep the same team. If Kawhi would have played the whole series, bro, like I don't think we would have lost. You like you said, your best guy's out. You go and win game 1. Oh, wait. Kawhi's back. We have a hard time getting him integrated games 2 and 3, and then he's out. And we're like, and let's not act like Kyrie didn't play out his fucking mind either. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, Kyrie was phenomenal, and so wasn't Luka for the first 3.5 games.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. It's gonna be rough.
You keep saying, throwing out. You could do this. You could do that. What do you want the Clippers to do? As a true Clippers fan, to keep what do you want?
I want them to run it back, but like
why?
I don't. Because I like the team we have, but we need Kawhi. I don't see with Kawhi, I don't see any reason we can't win the championship. But it's a matter of is he going to be there? That's why I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place because it's like fuck. I don't want to go and try to recreate Kawhi Leonard, whether it's with 1 player, 2 players, 3 players. But no, I also want him to actually fucking be there in the playoffs. Like I don't know, man. I honestly feel almost hopeless as a Clipper fan. Like we kind of need something like the Bucks had a few years ago, where Tom Brady just fell in their lap. Like shit. I don't know. We need a miracle. I thought of that. I've thought of that. If we get I have heard rumors of Durant.
See,
I've heard the Durant rumors.
Durant would be perfect. Kevin Durant is one of the only players in league history that you can plug into any system and he's going to make your team better.
Because he doesn't miss. You know what I'm saying? He's just, and that's the thing too. If you plug KD in, now you're gonna lose. KD is definitely an improved defender over his career. You're gonna lose a lot of the defense that you get with Kawhi, but now you have a legit number one. I mean, let's keep it real. Like Kevin Durant on most teams, Denver, Minnesota, he would probably be the number one option on any of those teams. Same thing if he comes to LA.
Absolutely. Now, you'd be okay if they got rid of Kawhi and got Kevin Durant, correct?
Yeah, I could live with that for sure. I could definitely deal with that. I don't know if happy would be the word, but if it's like, I mean, fuck, I know KD's gonna actually play in the playoffs, so yeah, I guess
Kevin Durant's a better player than Kawhi Leonard, at least offensively for sure.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, but I don't know about what Kawhi is on in the playoffs.
He's always been better than Kawhi.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Kawhi's never finished top 5 in MVP voting, but I mean, he brings a different element defensively. But yeah, with all the good players that we have around, with the defense that we play as a team, I think Kevin Durant would be a huge add. I think we would be losing a little bit of defense, but the amount of, I mean, because that's a whole nother ISO score that we're adding, and a guy, and because you were mentioning that
Paul George would be such a great 1-2 combo, man.
Yeah, and then you were mentioning the roster we have earlier. Like, you even failed to mention Norman Powell. Like, we have players. It's just like you said, man, it's like the best player is out. Like, the whole dynamic is fucked.
It changes, dude.
It changes completely because I'm not going to say you build around Kawhi, because at this point, man, the Clippers need to just be like, all right, we're just going to prepare as if he's not going to be here because we don't fucking know. Like, and you know what? We could get onto the Celtics in a second. But I just don't like, and they're doing great. It's just like, dude, like, these players bitch about the minimum games requirement, and I'm not one of those, like, go to work, you're making millions. Like I said earlier, you need to be a tip-top shape. But you're getting fucking paid millions of dollars to play a game. You could push through a little injury. Yes, you could push through a little soreness. You could push through a little irritation. There is no tomorrow. What is Kawhi now, like, fucking 34 probably?
Ian, there's a difference between being hurt and being injured.
He's hurt.
You're supposed to play when you're hurt.
Hell yeah, it's an 82-game season. Everybody's hurt at this point.
Exactly. When you're injured, completely different story. That's what Anthony Davis gets injured, but he plays when he can. Kawhi has a stomach ache, and he's like, oh, I'm out. Sit me out for a week. I don't get it with him.
It's the shit when, like, and we hear all the time about the old heads, like, you youngsters wouldn't make, like, this is what makes not our generation, but yeah, like, our generation of basketball, this makes the old heads look like they know what they're talking about. Because, granted, I think the players are 30 times more skilled than they were back then. But
no question.
Like, you have Halliburton. Maybe Booker didn't say nothing. I could be wrong. I'm not even gonna. But there's been a few players that have come out and said about bits about the NBA's minimum games requirement. You are a pro athlete who has all of these resources, trainers, treatment, hot tubs, fucking all that shit available to you. Like, it's not easy. I mean, I'm sure it's not easy playing an 82-game season, but like you said, you're supposed to play hurt. It's the playoffs. Like, oh, I'm just gonna like, nah, bro. Like, get the fuck out of LA if that's the case. Like, at this point, it's just, dude, it's just frustrating, bro, because it's like we get to the playoffs and this dude, I'm just gonna be that guy, bro. I think he's self-centered. Like, I like Kawhi to an extent. Like, he's from Moreno Valley. He's always been. He had a really cool story. His dad essentially got killed in front of him when he was a kid. They always say Kawhi is one of the hardest workers in the room. I could be the hardest fucking worker in the world. If I don't show up to work, it doesn't make a difference.
I could not agree more.
How about them C's, man? Who is it that called you guys like if it was boring? Yeah, it's been really boring for you guys, man, in the playoffs. You guys have not been tested whatsoever. Oh, okay. So what's going on?
Well, okay, hold on. Before we get to Boston, you brought up one thing, Ian, and I think you and I touched on it last week, Ian. But I want to get Justin's take on it because he wasn't here. I can't, and to be honest, Ian, I don't even remember if we touched on it. Maybe I'm just thinking we have and we didn't even talk about it.
I have no idea.
So, with the Suns obviously getting bounced in the first round, because we need to talk a little bit about these first round series before we get into the second round, because we didn't really talk about any of them. With Phoenix getting bounced quickly in the first round. I want to hear Justin's first because I think we've touched on this, Ian. How much of Kevin Durant's legacy has been impacted since he left Golden State?
I think his legacy was already impacted even before he went to Golden State. I think going to Golden State impacted his legacy.
But he at least got the 2 rings there with the 2 finals MVPs. And yeah, you could argue it was Steph's teams, but Kevin Durant was the best player on the team, and nobody would dispute that.
True.
But look what's happened since then. He's won 1 playoff series. Since he's left Golden State, he's won 1 playoff series.
You know who that was again? No, wait, he's won 2 because they beat my Clippers last year. He won in one in Brooklyn, and then he won against the Clippers last year.
Yes, correct. My apologies. Yes, because he won that one in Brooklyn. I keep forgetting about that.
But still, if he's supposed to be and before Justin answers it, I just kind of want to briefly give my own thing. I'm with Merritt, or Casey. Sorry, I think that there's I definitely think there is something to be said, not just when because what Justin said is correct. When he left Golden State, that essentially not set his legacy in stone, but he will forever be known as a quitter. You know what I'm saying? But he won 2.
He won't.
No, I mean, but that's what the
no, because in my real quick, I just want to check. In 20 years, nobody's gonna care how he got the rings. They're just gonna know that he got 2, right?
Yes, they will.
But no, they won't. Nobody will care. That won't even be a thing. I guarantee you. And nobody even brings it up now, really, anymore.
But just at the same time, you can make the same argument that LeBron went to Miami to get a ring.
No, but
no. At the time, that was the argument. But you can't.
It was. But the thing is, Kevin Durant went to the team that just beat him. That was why Kevin Durant was so much more.
If you can't beat him, join him.
He went to a team that was 73-9. LeBron went to a team that got swept in the first round by Boston.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I hear you. I'm just saying, at the time, people were saying, well, LeBron just went down so he can get a ring. Went down to South Beach to get a ring.
Oh, yeah. They still say that.
Time, that was the argument. It's still a valid argument in a sense. But, now, I'd say Kevin Durant, he lost any chance of being labeled the best player in the league.
Yeah.
Yes. See,
we did touch on this last week. I'm getting deja vu, yeah.
Yeah, we did. And I'll say my opinion so Justin can understand where I'm coming from on it. I think Kevin Durant went from a fringe top 10 player of all time to 15 to 20.
Fringe top 20.
Yeah. I think that's the type of legacy his legacy has taken, just because he has yet to show he can be that guy that wills his team to a title. Because nobody was going to beat that Golden State team. Nobody.
Maybe the 96 Bulls, but that's about it.
No, they would have gotten fucked up.
Honestly, yeah, they would have ran the Bulls off.
You can make the argument for the 86 Celtics, or maybe the 87 Lakers, or maybe the 96 Bulls. But even then, no,
not a single one of them, Justin. They all would have gotten ran off.
I wouldn't pick them. Let's just be honest. I wouldn't pick them, but maybe they might steal a game or 2 out of them.
Yeah, you guys are talking about the KD-led Warriors, right? Not the 73 and 9 team.
Yes, we're talking about the KD-led Warriors. No, the 17 and 18 Warriors. Nobody was beating them. And if Kevin Durant didn't tear his Achilles, they were gonna fuck Toronto up too.
That's true.
That was a great team. That team doesn't get talked about enough. Toronto had so many different important pieces. I mean, Marc Gasol played great.
But Ian, if KD didn't get hurt, they were going to blow him off the court.
Yes,
right after that, Kawhi left, and that was the end of his career. Really. Right after that.
It's just crazy that how, just these tiny little things can impact someone's legacy. Because Durant left Golden State, obviously because of Draymond. Yeah. Let's not get it twisted. He left because of Draymond. Now, they're cool now, of course, but that instant.
It was absolutely because of Draymond.
Yeah, that one instant of Draymond calling him a bitch and telling him to shut the fuck up altered Kevin Durant's legacy for his entire career.
Altered his psyche.
It's crazy how
I would say his legacy more so than his psyche. Kevin Durant is still a cold motherfucker.
He is, yes, but would you consider him a fringe top 10 of all time now? He's moved out of there.
You're gonna have to question the answer is no.
Right, for sure.
Same thing. Yeah, that's so weird that you said. That's exactly what I say with the Hall of Fame. If you even have to think if they're in the Hall of Fame, they're not. It's instant. If you say their name, if you don't think Hall of Fame instantly, they shouldn't be in.
Who, I don't know if it was some football player. They were talking about being at the Hall of Fame, and they made a good point. They're like, here, everybody can catch everybody. Everybody here is great. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kevin, going back to, yeah, I think it massively impacted his legacy, dude. I mean, we already heard the grumblings of he can't, he had to go to Golden State to what he went to the team that just joyed blah, 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 blah. And then, with LeBron, we've seen LeBron go to Cleveland and win one. LeBron has won one with 3 different organizations. At this point, we know LeBron
as the best player,
as the MVP all 4 times. Like we know what LeBron can do. Durant lost to the fucking Atlanta. I mean, granted, he has like a size 35 shoe. If his shoe size was a half a size smaller, we might be having an entirely different conversation right now.
Yeah.
If that had been counted a 3. But dude, like I think it massively impacts his legacy. He leaves Golden State. I mean, granted, that Brooklyn situation was just toxic from the start. You mixing in Kyrie with COVID restrictions, and you never know what you're gonna get. But I mean, they had a chance against Boston. I don't know. Did Harden play that series? The series that Tatum hit the layup, 2022. I know Kyrie went off in the first game. I mean, remember how badly Kevin Durant played that last game? Game 4, that was his. I think
I don't
that
know if Harden was playing. I think Harden might have been playing. I don't recall.
It's sad I don't remember, to be honest.
Funny story about that game. I was at the sports book watching it. I had Brooklyn, and this dude was like, "Give it to Tatum, Tatum." But yeah, man. I think his legacy was massively impacted because I honestly think Kevin Durant is one of the softest superstars ever. The Draymond calling him a bitch thing, I don't have any problem with the way he handled that. Like, at the end of the day, we're professionals. Like, if you want to, like, we can, we're on national TV, bro. Like, don't be calling me a bitch. It's not even like, oh, let's fight wars. Let's fight right here. No, that's just disrespectful. And Draymond, when they talked about it, he really didn't feel like he did anything wrong. So I can understand him leaving Golden State. But the fact that he hasn't even, like Casey said, he's won 2 playoff series.
Hasn't been out of the second round.
Right, he hasn't even been back to the conference finals. Like, he's gonna have to win and be a finals MVP again to even get back into possibly
top 10.
Bordering the top 10. But at this point, dude, like his legacy at this point is a complainer, and he's sensitive, and he only got the rings because Golden State. You said nobody's gonna remember 20 years from now. It might not be as hot of a topic as it is now, but we'll remember how Kevin Durant got those rings. I think, like, we'll remember that he joined the team that beat him. Social media is around. Like, the videos are going to be around forever. So, but
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, you're right. The better way to word it was, it's not going to be as heavily impacted.
For sure. Now, how about them Boston Celtics, man? You guys look great, bro. But I know I've been the biggest Boston hater, but you guys just haven't had a test yet. Like, you guys are just. I mean, Cleveland, bro, after I watched Game 7, that's why I told you guys yesterday. Justin was like, no, lay in your bed, motherfucker. You made the prediction. Cleveland is good, bro. They just, something about them, they just don't scream.
They can't play with, once Donovan Mitchell sits on the bench, they can't do shit.
Garland's didn't play great Game 1 either.
Cleveland's good. Cleveland's a good basketball team. They just don't have the depth or the firepower to keep up with Boston.
They were lucky to get past Orlando, if we're being honest with each other.
They are. And it's funny because, okay, it's not funny, actually. It's actually quite alarming as a Celtics fan how much of a struggle Jason Tatum has with his jump shot right now, and we're still dominating. That's not going to be the case if we get to the finals.
No,
we can't have Jason Tatum averaging 21
at his best.
We can't have Tatum averaging 21 being the 3rd leading scorer on our team like he has been all playoffs. That is not going to slide.
Is he really number 3 on your guys' scoring for the whole playoffs?
He's number 3.
Yeah, Derek White.
But
Derek White and Jaylen Brown are the 2 leading scorers right now.
But here's the thing. I mean, yes, he hasn't been getting his jump shots to fall as easily. He is creating offense in other aspects.
No, agreed, because he leads the team in assists and he leads the team in rebounding. So it's not like his shooting is impacting his effort, but at the same time, we need our best player to be our best player.
You need your guy who's going to give you the clutch shot in the clutch.
Yes, absolutely. And now,
you can also look at it as a plethora of an overabundance of riches, because in a sense, the Celtics don't need Tatum to be at his 100% best to get through the Eastern Conference.
No, but they're gonna need that Game 6 Milwaukee Tatum at some point.
They're gonna need that game, that dog he was in Game 6
when he dropped 42 on Giannis's head.
Didn't he posterize Giannis in that game too?
Yeah, he did.
I think so.
Yeah, he did.
So I thought he postered him at one point.
Yeah, he did. So did Al Horford, actually, which is strange. But
that was just hilarious.
Wait, what about Al Horford?
Al Horford
posterized Giannis that series.
Giannis. If I recall, it was like a full-on teabag right in his face.
Either way, I think tomorrow what Boston needs to do, feed Tatum early. Let him work out the kinks. Because I think this is going to sound crazy, I think what may break Tatum out of this slump, to be honest with you, just let him take the first shot of the night tomorrow. Hopefully it's a 3, and hopefully that boy goes down. If that shot goes down, first shot of the night, swishes, 3, crowd erupts, I think the slump's over.
Yeah.
But he needs to break out of it soon. We can't beat Minnesota. We couldn't beat OKC. We couldn't beat Denver with Tatum being our third leading scorer. It's just not going to happen.
It's not sustainable.
It's not. No, we can handle Cleveland.
Here's the crazy thing. Anyone want to vote who the best player in the playoffs is right now outside of Jalen Brunson and Anthony Edwards? I'd make the argument it's probably Derek White.
I'd say outside of Anthony Edwards and Jalen Brunson, it's Derek White. He's playing the best ball of his career.
Playoffs and regular season.
My God, he is on a tear. And not to mention, he's one of the best defending guards in the league, too.
That's why they got him. They got him for his defense. They didn't get him for his offense. And he is shooting over 50% from 3 in the playoffs.
Absolutely. He's the second leading scorer. So Brown's first, and then it's White, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, he's the second leading scorer on the team. Yeah, and he is lights out from 3 right now.
And it's not like he's coming off the screen. He's creating his own shots.
Absolutely. And burying them. And Ian, you always say you don't think Boston has that dog in them to win the title, which is fine, because especially from years past, I get where you're coming from. But where I disagree in this instance with you on that is every single player on Boston, probably outside of Sam Hauser, is a really good defender.
I mean, even Luke Cornett has been locked down from the perimeter.
Luke Cornett stuffed Donovan Mitchell at the rim twice last night.
I'm going to say it again, man. Coaching. I don't like, bro, with Ime Udoka, I thought they had a legit chance to beat the Warriors. Like, they really seem like, they won game 1.
Tatum just went cold.
But Ian, it all comes down to the point I keep saying to you and the point you keep agreeing with me on. If Boston's on their A game, nobody's going to beat them.
Right, but that's a big if.
Boston can play the B game in the entire Eastern Conference and walk right through.
Yeah, they can walk through the East with their B game. Yes, easily.
You don't think Minnesota can beat them with their A game?
No, Boston can walk to the Eastern Conference with their B game.
Let's put it like I'll answer it like this. I'll answer it like this. If Minnesota played their A game and Boston brought their A- game, Minnesota would win. But if it's A game to A game, it's Boston.
That's fair. I mean, at the same, like, you guys really, the core shit has been playing. Tatum, Derek White, Jalen, like, they have some year, they're not, they threw in Porzingis and they threw in, help me out here, Drew Holiday, but I don't know, man. I hate being that guy, like I said yesterday, that's like, hey, yeah, Boston's going to lose because I just think they're going to lose. But I don't know, man. Like, you look at all the stats, bro. Offensively, defensively, they don't turn the ball over. They don't commit fouls. They're a better three-point shooting team than anybody in the league. Like you said, like, I don't know, man. A game, they could probably beat anybody, but I just I don't know, man. It's a lot easier said than done. Like, dude, I didn't even know that Joe Mazzulla was like a coach until last year. Like, I didn't even know. I'm like, what the fuck? Wasn't that the guy that played at West Virginia? I liked him at first, man. But they always roll through the regular season, bro. Like, it's like the Cowboys, but not even like the Cowboys don't even dominate like this year in and year out. Like the Celtics are legit. I don't know, man. I don't think we're really gonna learn until we get to the finals how good they are. Because I mean, shit, if they play the Knicks, bro, I like Brunson. Brunson is fucking playing. Oh, they're playing. I think it's like 4-4 right now. But I mean, bro, on their A game, Boston sweeps the Knicks.
Ian, you said 10 days ago that Boston couldn't beat the Knicks.
I said they couldn't beat the Knicks?
Yes, you did.
You said the Knicks would beat. Yeah, exactly. You said it on the show.
I might have said they would beat them, but I'm not saying they can't beat them. They might just they're going to beat themselves.
Brunson would have to drop 50 points a night to beat the Celtics.
Oh, that's another big thing too. Mitchell Robinson just got hurt again, so that throws a big.
Good night, Irene.
Oh God, yeah, you have nobody to protect the paint.
That's going to be tough.
And Porzingis is looking to come back
Brunson
before
just got hurt
conference
too.
Finals at this rate.
He did not. You're fucking kidding.
No, Brunson just got hurt.
Okay, well, in that case, Celtics and foe.
Like, it's not an injury where it's taken out of the game, but he just injured his thumb, which is going to impact his shooting.
Dude, he's dropped 40. Like, I don't know, man, because like we were talking about last week, like Brunson is 6'3". He's the first player to score 40 plus in 4 straight playoff games since Jerry West did it 6 times. But okay, I mean, if Brunson's out, if Brunson's even a little hurt, it might be Celtics to the finals. But I mean, I don't know, man. They're gonna have to. Precious Achiuwa is gonna really have to step it up. I mean, DiVincenzo's been playing fearless. Like that team, the Knicks are one of those teams. They're not like Miami last year, but they're one of those teams to where don't give them hope. You give them hope, a slither of hope, they're gonna take a mile. I don't know.
I think the Knicks can push Boston to 6 if I'm being realistic.
Oh man, Boston wrapping it up in the Garden, I'm sure would feel right. Go New York, go New York, go. I always say I want the Knicks to be good at basketball because it's good for basketball. But after seeing how they lost their mind after winning 1 playoff game in the first round, I don't know if I want the Knicks to be good anymore. Like I always say, I think the Cowboys being good would be good for football. I don't know if I want a bunch of arrogant ass Cowboys fans walking around. I mean, my whole life it's been the Patriots, but I haven't known nearly as many Patriot fans as Cowboy fans.
See, here's the thing that kind of where my logical side kind of aligns with you, Ian, when it comes to Boston, just because I've seen the collapse so many times. And last night, I'm watching the game, obviously. Boston starts the game off, they're up 12-2, right? About 4 minutes of game time later, Cleveland takes a 2-point lead. And I texted it in the group chat. My initial thought, I was like, this game's done. I was like, Boston just quit. Cleveland's going to end up running away, beating them by 10. Thankfully, that didn't happen.
Eat crow.
Stop doing that shit, man.
But
I mean, I feel you though, bro. It's like
because it screamed repetitiveness. You know what I mean? I was like, I've seen this shit before. Like they 12-2 start. I was like, okay, perfect. And then what ended up happening in the first half, right? They were up 7, then they went up 10, then they went up 12, then they were back down to 7, then it went up to 10. I was like, I kept thinking, I was like, shit, Cleveland's gonna stick around. It'll be like an 8-point game going into the 4th, and we're gonna somehow blow it. Thankfully, they turned the fucking Jets on in this 3rd quarter and just pummeled them. But when Boston is playing like that, where they're up 7, up 10, but can't push it further than that, that's when I start to get nervous for him. Even more so.
And I can understand because Tatum was having an off night scoring, so I can understand why you had some trepidation there. But again, Jaylen Brown was not having an off night. Derek White has not had an off night this playoffs.
No, but they're going to, and that's why we need Tatum to break out of this slump.
Oh, I mean, I'm not denying that one iota, but
it would take, in order for the Knicks to legitimately push Boston, it would take what I like to call it would no, absolutely. Somebody would get hurt. And also it would take something like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Oh, okay, I got a good example. In order for the Knicks to really like put fear in Boston, they need what I like to call a nobody game. And what that means is a game where you could legitimately say they played so well, I don't think anybody could have beaten them. Prime
They need a
example.
David Tyree moment.
David Tyree. This is another great example, and I use this team in this type of example all the time. Let's switch sports here. I'm going to go to the NFL. They need a 2013 Super Bowl Seattle Seahawks game, and the reason I say that is because you could have lined any team up against Seattle in the Super Bowl in 2013. Seattle was going to beat the shit out of them. They clicked on all cylinders all night and did not miss a beat. That's the type of effort it's going to take for the Knicks to beat Boston if Boston doesn't beat themselves, Ian. I'll give you that. But for the Knicks to legitimately beat Boston.
Side note to the 2013 Seahawks, I wanted them to shut Peyton Manning out in that Super Bowl so bad.
Oh, of course you did, yeah, because
that was the
New England in the AFC Championship game.
Fucking sporting event I have ever watched, bro. By like the fucking third quarter, like I was having a female friend. I don't remember what she was doing, if she was like shampooing my hair or what. But like, point being, look, man. Besides the point, that game was over. The first fucking play
started.
You know, Mark Cuban bet that first play to be a safety, or the first the first score to be a safety. I think he fucking cashed out.
That's insane.
That game was over before it started.
No, but see, you get my point when I say that, though, Justin and Ian. Like, I don't care who you lined up against them in that Super Bowl. Seattle was going to beat them.
So is that how you feel about Boston? If Boston can really be Boston?
No, that's what I think it would take for the Knicks to legitimately beat Boston if Boston doesn't beat themselves. That's what I think it would take the Knicks, that type of game, for them to beat Boston.
Oh, like an 0-2 Buccaneers game type shit.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
they need to have like everything go right. Like the Miami's game 2 this year.
Yes.
Like everything has to go right the entire series long.
Exactly.
But see what Casey was talking about a little while ago about how, like when I saw him cutting it back close, I started to get nervous. That's my fear with Boston. Like we said, Boston looks good playing behind. They were there flexing and Tatum doing his little, all that shit. And, I'm just kind of rambling now, but that's cool. They doing all that shit when they're ahead, but when they fall, like, is Boston tough enough? That's my thing. Maybe that's how I should have worded it instead of just constantly over-explaining myself. Does Boston have the toughness? Anybody can look. What did Luka say? Everybody.
Yes, they do.
Wait, what'd you say?
Defensively, they absolutely do.
Yeah, no, for sure. Defensively, they do. But, I mean, are we going to see guys just start? I don't know, man. To me, like, at least last year watching the playoffs, because at least the Eastern Conference Finals, with the exception of the first 2 games, I watched most of the second game, but I watched, like, every game of that series. And Boston, yeah, bro, when they look good, they look good when they're up. But, well, when they're down, as a viewer watching it, I can kind of just sense, like, yeah, like they're not the same team when they're losing. I don't know what it is. Like when Boston's winning, I'm like, oh yeah, Boston's about to win by 40. When they're losing, it could be to the fucking Spurs, bro. And I would be like, or that's a bad example because they went and played them in the playoffs. But they could be losing, like to the Jimmy Butlerless Heat in the first round. Like Jimmy could have still been out if Boston had really had to play from behind that whole series. I probably would have picked Miami. A lot of people were picking Miami based off of last year, I think, though, because like Miami did not have the firepower to compete with Boston this year. They had Hero, they didn't have Butler. Last year they had Butler, didn't have Hero. So I don't know.
They'll probably meet in the playoffs again next year because they always fucking do. So I guess we'll see what happens then.
That's a real rivalry now. I think that is a legit rivalry.
Absolutely. But I see what you mean, Ian, by that. But my retort to that would be, I think Boston is so good that I think they may only have to win one tight-knit game to win a series. I think they have the firepower to blow most teams out 3 times or win comfortably 3 games.
Yeah, with the exception of Minnesota, I could literally see them blowing. I could see them sweeping every other team, blow out every single game at their ceiling.
I think Minnesota is going to be, if it's Boston, Minnesota. I know the NBA probably doesn't want that. I mean, obviously they want Boston because it's the Celtics. I don't know if they want fucking Minnesota in there.
Oh, they do now. You don't see how much they're promoting Anthony Edwards. They absolutely. I don't know, man. I mean, but I think they'd be cool with Minnesota in the finals. I mean, they're small market, but they have Anthony Edwards. You know,
Right. I think the NBA likes that for the playoffs. I don't know if they want that for the finals.
I like, bro. I mean, because I saw something recently. I don't know how much truth there is to it. The NBA is gonna spend like $100 million just marketing Anthony Edwards. Like, I think they should. Like, I mean, he's what, like
22.
Damn, he's really that. What? I thought he was like 23. Well, let me see, because he got drafted, I think, the COVID year. Yeah, sounds about right. Like, normally I would agree with you because, dude, Minnesota and Boston, like the same year that people got mad because the Patriots beat the fucking Jaguars, and I'm like, did you guys really want to see the Jaguars and the Eagles play in the Super Bowl? Like, think about it. But I think it's different. Like, I was the only person at the sports book who had bet on the Patriots game on the Patriots, and I felt like a white supremacist. Like, I'm joking. Like, let me add context because, like, everybody there was just like, I fucking hate Tom Brady. The only other two people that were going for him was me and this other white guy that was there. But it was like, yeah, obviously I wanted to win my bet, which I did it because they didn't cover like 9.5 or whatever it was. But my main thing was I do not want to wake up and be like, damn, the Jaguar. Like, good for the people of Jacksonville, Duval. But I want to see Tom Brady. Like, even if I want to see him lose, I want to see Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. I want to see Anthony. I want to see the Celtics in the championship. I want to see the best go at it. I don't want to see, like, I don't know, what's a team in the West that's still around. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, every team in the West would really be pretty marketable. I think they would make a lot of money off Dallas, Boston.
He's the one that's only really one that's not.
Yeah, OKC, and then I guess the Cavaliers, Indiana, maybe. Indiana, I mean, they got Halliburton, but I don't. They're a team though. The NBA market.
Nobody wants to see Indiana.
Right. Okay. You know what? I was lying to myself. Thank you for bringing me back down to reality. You're right. Nobody wants to see Indiana in the finals. The NBA markets its players. The NFL markets its teams. So I don't think it matters if it's Minnesota, Boston. If you have Anthony Edwards in the finals, cool. NBA is cool with that because bro. I mean, he was doing the DX suck it shit again the other day, and Charles Barkley said that was like one of the best defensive teams he's ever seen. Like,
dude, they're great defensively.
Dude, it's a beauty to watch, bro. Like, Jaden McDaniels, I love the way he plays. That dude is a legit. I think he's 6'10", bro, and I think that. So, okay, if we're going to, we're talking about playoffs, finals, going to happen for the Celtics. Who do you guys think they put on Tatum if we get to the finals? Do you think they put McDaniels on him? I think they put Edwards on Brown, probably. They put McDaniels on
They're going to have to put McDaniels on Tatum because they don't want to wear down Edwards by putting him on Tatum.
Right, from the offensive side. And then, obviously, you're going to just put Conley on White, but I think it's going to be an exciting matchup, bro. I think, honestly, Denver, I love them, but we were talking about it. Like, they were trailing for like 100, like what, almost 4/5 of the series they were losing, and they won in 5 games. That was the most entertaining 5-game series I have ever seen in my life. Ever. Dude, because it was like, it's LeBron, it's Jokic, it's the playoffs. Jamal Murray hits a buzzer beater, hits a game winner to win.
Every game was great. Every game was close.
Speaking of Jamal Murray, what the? I'm gonna start with Justin because Justin was the one that was. Wait,
we talk about this series first? Like, what? Not even just Jamal. What the fuck's going on with Denver right now?
They're not that great.
Also, do you think this series is over?
I'm calling it.
Yeah, I do.
I called it. When Denver goes down 2-0, they're done.
Yeah, I mean, my friend Jason, we were talking. He thinks that Denver is going to go into Minnesota and just win both, which I can definitely see happen. I mean, shit, the Dallas Stars
absolutely can.
They can,
but they can for sure.
Okay, if they had suspended Jamal Murray as they should,
fuck yeah, somebody could have got hurt.
Minnesota would be sweeping Denver right now.
No question.
I mean, well, they're all sweeping them, but what you're saying is if, they would sweep them for the series, right, is what you're saying?
Oh, if they had suspended Jamal Murray even for Game 3, Minnesota would be sweeping the series.
Yeah, I mean, dude, let's talk about that I know you want to get on the series. Like I said, I think it's over. I think Denver wasted a lot, way too much.
I think it's over, too. I think Minnesota wins in a gentleman's sweep at this point.
But what are we doing then, dudes? Throw shit on the court and then just kicking them out of the and fining them $100,000.
So wait, hold on, Justin. You said you think Minnesota is now going to win in a gentleman's sweep?
Yes.
No way. Because what you're saying is then Denver's going to win one in Minnesota, and then it's going to go back to Denver, and Minnesota's going to win?
Yep.
No way.
Yep.
No
They
way.
held them to 37 points in the first half the other
If
night.
Minnesota wins this series, which I'm starting to think they will, it's either going to be in 4 or in 6. If Denver gets one on the road, they're going to win at home. It's just that last-ditch champion effort. They're going to win at home in Game 5.
I mean, you said it perfectly with that word. They're champions. Like, I'm not expecting championship teams don't roll over.
That's
don't
what I'm
roll over.
saying.
Like, and they're gonna come out
way
desperate.
Are they going to do it in 5? No way.
They're gonna play so
Maybe I
desperate
should clarify.
tomorrow.
If Minnesota wins Game 3 and goes up 3-0, it's a gentleman's sweep.
I still disagree.
I'll say it like this: Game 3 is gonna be the most important game that Denver has played
all year long,
probably since this team has been formed. To be completely honest with you,
Agreed. 100% agreed.
Down 2-0. I mean, like I said, like I don't expect Denver to roll over at all. Like they're the defending champions. Their personnel
Denver's
is
not rolling over.
But dude, like, all right, let's just kind of transition to Jamal Murray, bro. Briefly, what do you guys? I kind of really just want to talk about that. I know I kept kind of itching at it, but what do you guys feel about that? I think that was complete fucking bullshit that he didn't get suspended. Let somebody else do that on a team they don't like. That isn't like the Golden Boys.
Right,
bro.
No, he absolutely should have been
He would have been suspended.
You said what? What, Justin?
Tomfoolery bullshit. He should have been suspended.
If it were the regular season, he would have gone suspended for a couple games.
Fuck! If the series was 1-1, he'd be suspended.
Well, you're saying they're not suspending him so they can keep Denver in it, essentially?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
NBA doesn't want. I mean, because if you think about it, bro, this is the series everybody was looking forward to. Like, this is the series to this point. Hell, I don't think we're gonna get a more compelling series really, unless we get Minnesota, Boston, or I think like maybe Dallas, Boston. But this is the series. You have Jokic, who just won his 3rd MVP. Everybody's saying Shea got robbed against the new star Anthony Edwards. So yeah, I definitely agree as well. Yeah, man, that was fucking bullshit. Like they could have. Somebody could have tripped on that, bro.
And the bullshit reason why they said they didn't suspend him is because the refs couldn't see that it was him who threw the damn towel, and
How many cameras do they have in the arena again?
Yeah, they absolutely saw that he threw it.
They can't open an They open an investigation in every goddamn thing else. They can't do a fucking investigation and find. That's fucking crazy, bro.
No,
you telling me you have all these?
The only thing that's in his favor is the fact that he doesn't have a history. A la Draymond.
A history doesn't matter, though. I agree.
I agree. That's the only cop-out excuse that they have.
It shouldn't matter.
That could have seriously injured somebody.
Oh, agreed. Karl Anthony Towns was 2 inches from slipping him on that heating pad.
And the thing is, like how Justin said, Karl Anthony Towns 2 inches away from slipping. Like, what kind of precedent does this set? You know, because it's all like, oh, well, he should have got suspended now. But, bro, what if he actually got hurt? Like, can you imagine Karl Anthony Towns, who has been balling, getting hurt, slipping on a heat pack? Like, you have to, like, bro, I get you want to extend the series, but you got to think about what could have happened. Like, you got to – Adam Silver is so fucking soft, dude.
Because the thing is, if a player throws something off the court, they're gone. Absolutely gone.
Wait, what do you mean?
No. So, for example,
like a
player will get ejected, technical foul ejected for throwing something from the court into the crowd.
Or onto the bench. Unless it's like a sweatband or something they're just trying to get rid of.
Exactly. But there was no precedent for someone throwing something from the bench onto the court.
Hey, don't tell Bobby Knight that. Has that really been the first time? Has that really been the first time an NBA? I mean, I think you might be right. I mean, if it happened in a bullshit regular season game, we probably just like. I'm sure it has happened, but in something of this magnitude, a game of this magnitude, that's the first of its kind.
It's on. There's so much wrong with what he did because it was a temper tantrum aspect of it too. Like,
oh, it absolutely was.
100%.
Yeah, that's what bothers me the most of it, and just his. I don't want to say lack of empathy towards other players by, like Justin said, throwing that heated pad. Karl Anthony Towns, with 2 inches, that's half a step for him. You know, that's half a step. That's what I'm saying. And that, you were right, Ian, when you said it. Adam Silver's being soft. And the only reason he's not suspended is because, A, it's Jamal Murray and Denver's down 2-0.
And people were like, the refs didn't make and they're like, oh, he's mad about the refs. I've seen some bad calls go both ways. You don't throw something on the court, bro. It doesn't fucking matter what the refs do.
Never throw something on the court ever.
I mean, shit. Well, speaking of that, since we're talking about throwing shit into the crowd, I think that's a great segue for our next part. So, what were you saying earlier, Justin? I know the police are opening an investigation into Patrick Beverly for the incident. That's yeah, I like Patrick Beverly, man. I love his podcast. Roan, Mary, I'm glad that you put me on to Roan. I listen, Casey. I listen to some of his freestyles. Wow, that dude is insane.
You need to watch his battles.
That's what I meant. Yeah, his battle raps. Oh, dude, like I was like, what
so
the fuck? This is the same guy on the Patrick Beverly podcast. But,
yeah, it's the same guy.
But going past that though, like, dude, like that was like, bro, like what the fuck? The dude was like, hey, you know, I don't know what he was telling him, and the Patrick was like, here, bro, he chucked that shit fucking hard, and the dude from the stands, like a lot of times I feel like fans that try to fight players, it's like, bro, get a life. Like you're really trying to fight an NBA. Like why are you at the game? Just have fun. I don't know if it was the kid's dad or what, but I'd be fucking pissed too. Like, bitch, throw something in my fucking kid again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get you're losing the fucking game, bro, but you're a millionaire. And then the shit, he has the audacity to, if you don't listen to my podcast, you know, if you don't subscribe, then I'm not gonna answer your question. Like, who the fuck you think you are, bro? I love Patrick Beverly's game, bro. Like, he is a dog.
He's so fucking.
I love his game. Fuck no.
I hate his game.
He's washed.
He's an overrated pest defender.
I mean, I guess you could say he's overrated as a pest because he does get blown by. But I mean, but you just said it right there. Like he's a pest. Like he will get into your head. I don't know. I love his game. I love the intangible he brings. I love his basketball IQ. But that was wrong.
Intangible does he bring, Ian?
Toughness.
Not really.
Fake toughness.
Fake toughness, my ass. That dude played in overseas for what 5-6 years and grinded his way to the NBA. He's been here for 12 years.
He's soft.
Patrick Beverly is not soft. Hell no.
No, he's not soft, but he's not a tough guy. Like he's
not James Johnson. He's not Charles Oakley. I understand.
He doesn't have a thick skin.
No, he's neither one of them. But what does he actually bring to the table? Nothing.
Intangibles. That's really about it. I mean, he don't bring anything basketball-wise. Toughness. Standing up for his guy. Like I don't know, man. Like there's a reason he's been in the NBA this long. That's all I'm saying.
So toughness, Ian, right? So getting absolutely cooked by Chris Paul.
And then pushing him in the back.
Throwing a temper tantrum and shoving him in the back when he's not.
No, I don't agree with that either.
That's toughness?
No, I don't agree with that either. I'm not justifying that or this.
Is toughness?
Wait, what'd you say about Russell Westbrook?
Maybe it was James Harden. Was it Westbrook or Harden that he tried to injure in that playoff series?
Westbrook. That's
toughness?
In the play? When he played for who?
When he played, it must have been Westbrook because when he played for Houston.
Damn, that's so long. I don't even remember that. No, it's tough. Fuck yeah, Patrick Beverly. They're like NBA G. Like, there's a reason. I mean, granted, he's played for what, 8 teams, but there's a reason he's still in the NBA. Like, there's something the NBA GMs want. He wouldn't keep getting signed if he wasn't tough. If he didn't bring something to the table, and he actually gets playing time, it's not like he's buried at the end of the bench. I agree with that little bullshit ass shove of Chris Paul. Like, bro, take your fucking loss like a man. I get it. You can chirp all you want during the game, talk all that shit. Take it cheap shots. Like, if you man, we've seen a bunch of tough dudes, but at the end of the day, when the whistle blows, shake your head, good game. That was bullshit what he did to Chris Paul. That was bullshit what he did to the fan. But fuck yeah, Patrick Beverly breaks toughness.
No, he doesn't.
He's a dog.
He's not a dog.
He is a dog. He's a chihuahua. That's still a dog.
That's fair. He's a chihuahua. He's a little pest that nips at your ankles, but brings no real threat.
Little ankle biter.
I cannot stand Patrick Beverly.
Really? I love Patrick Beverly, man. He's I just love. Oh, you know what? Maybe my opinion is a little biased because I love his podcast. But I mean, even before that, bro, I've always thought he was just a tough dude.
His podcast is kind of mid too.
Yeah, his podcast. I mean, what do you call our podcast then?
It ain't JJ and LeBron's podcast.
That's a great podcast.
Speaking of JJ, do you see him becoming the next coach of the Lakers?
No.
Bad move.
I would agree, bad move.
He's too bad, bro. I like JJ, but honestly, man, I kind of like his toughness.
You know how much that would fuck up their podcast, JJ and LeBron?
Oh, so much.
I don't even think
they go into the game and LeBron would be like, "Nah, JJ, you to put the rotation in. I know this better than you." It would fuck up the whole rotation.
I think JJ is too Como se dice, too close to the players. Like, he's still too much of a former player. He's not a coach. Adrian Griffin is a coach. Doc Rivers, with all his faults, is a coach.
Jason
Darvin
Kidd?
Ham is not qualified, but he strikes me as a men leading men, a coach. I don't know if JJ Redick has that, but at the same time, this is a lot. It isn't, drill sergeant NBA anymore. Like, players, coaches are cool now, so I don't know, but I don't think just because, he has some pretty good basketball takes that he's going to be able to coach a LeBron. But
No,
I mean,
he's a
LeBron
great
really
basketball
does
mind.
yeah,
I
that
think
that
JJ
might make it
Redick
work.
could coach, but I just don't think he should coach the Lakers.
That's
The
fair. I mean,
Lakers
we
is
saw
not-
what happened to
is
Steve
not-
Nash.
It's not the job you want to start your coaching career.
Hell no. A franchise like the Lakers with a player like LeBron, no, that you do not want that to be your
In
first head
LA?
coach. Yeah,
God no.
absolutely not. You are going to be scrutinized from game one.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think that's a good point. Like, not with the Lakers, because hell, maybe if Steve Nash didn't start off with the most fucking toxic big three of all time, possibly, maybe he, maybe we would like. I heard he was just pushed around by that team. Like, they didn't listen to him.
They didn't respect him.
They didn't. Like, you know what I'm saying? It takes more than knowing the
Durant
game.
and Kyrie respected Steve Nash as a coach. No.
It takes more than knowing the game. And I know you guys, and I've been a manager myself, so I'll just, put it to term that we can all understand. I'm sure you guys have had more people. You guys have had people at your job that know things better, that might be faster typers, that might be better at certain things. But it takes more than knowing how to do the job to be a good leader.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, like, if you cannot know. Because I think they were talking about Eric Spoelstra. I forgot. Udonis Haslam was a really good example. He's like, Eric Spoelstra, like Pat Riley came in and said, no, this is our coach. It was like the only adjustment Spoelstra had to make is he had to learn when to call a timeout, when to make certain adjustments. Like, he was a leader from day one. My concern with JJ isn't his basketball IQ at all. He could describe a flare screen. He could describe a high ball screen and how to, run horns action, blah, 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 all day. But that doesn't mean anything.
Great basketball mind.
It's communication. All the world is communication. I could be the smartest motherfucker in the world. If I don't know how to communicate what I know to you in a way that helps you, it's useless, especially as your leader. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could not agree more. Could not agree more.
Why am I like
With
this?
With that being said, before we get to the question, let's run through each round, each game, each round 2 series, and just give our prediction what team and what. I know it's already started, but let's just run through it and see what we do. You guys down for that?
Yeah, for sure. We can do it real quick.
Okay, since we just got done talking about the series, basically, Denver, Minnesota, Ian, go.
Oh, Casey, check the messenger chat, by the way. Denver, Minnesota, I've got we're talking about games too, right? I'm not gonna go too depth into it. I've got Mini in 5. And I'll just kind of go through one myself. Oklahoma City, Dallas. I've got I don't know, man. I really like Dallas at the beginning. I've got Oklahoma City in 5. I've got the Knicks over Indiana in 5. And I have got the Celtics sweeping the Cavaliers.
Okay. Yeah. I've got Minnesota, OKC, Indy, the Knicks, and the Celtics.
Yeah, I got same. I got Minnesota in 5. I got OKC in 6. Celtics in 4. Knicks in 7.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me.
I was thinking about 7 for the Knicks series, but I just wasn't really sure.
All right. So who's got the question?
I got it.
All right. What you got, Ian?
Okay. So, what is the most disappointed that you have ever been to watching a sporting event? Let me clarify that question. A game that you were super, super, super excited to watch, but when it started, your team got the fucking ditty beaten out of them. I'll start with Justin. And then midway through, you were just like, fuck this, I'm turning this shit off.
Oh, jeez.
Not the most pleasant question, but I feel like it's a good one.
Yeah.
I think I know Justin's answer to this.
The 2018 Super Bowl, Giants Patriots. The Mario Manning catch one. Not the
2007.
Yeah, 2007. Thank you. Sorry.
Oh, to Manningham. Sorry, not the David Tyree. Manningham. 2011.
Not the Tyree Super Bowl, the Manningham Super Bowl.
2011. Okay.
Yeah.
Really? That was a close game though.
No, it wasn't.
Did you guys only lose by like 3, 4?
Yeah, but it was in the trenches. It was over early.
I mean, shit, you guys still could have won that game if he didn't make that amazing catch and that amazing throw.
And if Wes Welker didn't drop the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That was a rough one for you guys, bro. Like, what did you guys see? What Eli Manning said at the Pro Bowl when they had super hot fire? He said, what he said? I'm Eli Manning. I don't know what he said. Eli Manning. I'm nice. Tom Brady's the GOAT. Psych. I beat him twice. Oh. What about you, Casey?
Oh man, the most disappointed I've ever been in a game.
Just pick a Dallas playoff game in recent history. Call it good.
I was gonna say the Green Bay this past year. I would not say
yeah, that's got.
I can go to that. I can go to that. I can go to the 2008 Week 17 matchup for the division when we lost to Philadelphia 44-6.
I got to change my notes real quick.
Yep.
It was the 2016 Week 17 Dolphins Patriots last game of the season. All the Patriots
when you lost the 1 seed.
They lost the 1 seed. Yep.
And that ended up allowing well, I mean, shit, that meant that you guys had to play in that first round, right?
Yeah, that was 2015.
Go to Denver for the AFC Championship game and lost.
Yeah, and Denver won.
Okay.
So mine could be 3 games, and I don't know which one to go through. So I'll just say them all 3. I'm not going to dive too much into them. This past NFL season's wildcard game against Green Bay. 2008 Week 17 for the division against Philadelphia, we lost 44-6. And the 2009 divisional round against the Vikings when Brett Favre lit our shit on fire.
Those are some good ones. Mine is personally from this last year. I was very excited to watch USC going into South Bend to take on Notre Dame. And about 10 minutes into the game, bro, I was like, my friend Donovan, shout out D-Wood, he always over here watching football with me. I have my lucky hat. I'm over here playing the USC theme song all day. And it wasn't just a beating. It was an ass whooping. Like how Justin was saying about the Manningham Super Bowl in the trenches. We got fucking dominated, bro. It was to the point where I'm like, I think I turned that shit off with like 5 minutes left. I'm like, dude, like, oh my God. Like, I was so hyped to, dude, because the thing is with USC, we all remember how bad their defense was last year, but we were undefeated at the time, and it was like, all right, when's the shoe going to drop? Boy, did it drop.
So I stopped watching the Packers-Cowboys wildcard game. I think there was 10 minutes left in the fourth, and Green Bay went up 24 again at that point. I stopped watching.
I know that was rough. You having to turn off a Cowboys game, like holy shit.
Oh yeah, that doesn't happen very often. I was not the happiest guy. Yeah, I didn't talk much the rest of that night.
What's wrong, babe? It don't fucking matter.
Oh no, she didn't have to ask what was wrong. She knew. She knew.
What the fuck?
She watches the games with me. She endured it and made fun of me a little bit, but she stood by me. So
the thing that and that's dope, man, that she was making fun of you a little bit. It's a lot less funny when you got but I had a chick over here, we were watching Oklahoma, Texas, and Oklahoma scored to win the game with like 10 seconds. And she's like, look how happy they look. I'm like, I know we're friends and we fuck around, but like not now. Like, so and, in the middle of that game.
It pisses me off with her because I can't say anything because she's a fucking Chiefs fan.
Yeah, no, you're kind of
So what am I gonna say? Like,
your team sucks. Can't go with that one. Your team is full of Swifties.
You guys didn't do so hot in the regular season, but you won the fucking Super Bowl because you got Kermit the goddamn Frog playing quarterback.
One thing before we get off, last thing, Rashee Rice, please calm your ass down. That's it.
Please. Absolutely.
He just got arrested again for punching a dude. I don't know if he got arrested, but he got I think he got charged.
Jeez.
But yeah, man. Love you guys, man. It was another great show. To all 3 of our listeners, we really appreciate you guys. I'll do my best to get the show up before the end of the Knicks-Pacers game tonight.
Good
Probably
deal.
won't get up till Sunday. No, I'm just playing. But, no, man, great show, guys. Great one.
Great show, guys. Appreciate it.
Don't forget to bring a towel when you go to Canada.
And as Tally said, good night, everybody.